Hello lovelies, it's Lesley. Not quite enough time spent doing sensible stuff when I've actually been faffing about on my phone. Yeah, how are we? Hope everyone's okay. Yeah, it's been a fairly quiet week. Sunday I went hospital visiting and the traffic was pretty full on. A combination of bank holiday, half term, good weather, so the journey that would normally take me 2 3/4 hours took 3 3/4 hours, so that was a bit full on, but it was much quicker coming home, thankfully. Patient's doing well, progressing well, so that's good. Monday I was pretty shattered, so I didn't bother going to the drumming at the medieval fair, which is a shame because I know I would have enjoyed the event, but I also know that it would have left me absolutely exhausted, and that seemed a price to pay that I didn't want to pay, so didn't do that. I had a restful day at home instead. But apart from that, it's been a fairly quiet week. It's been one of those weeks it's been hard to kind of get motivated, and I have spent a lot of time, particularly first thing in the morning. I get up, let the dog out the garden, and look at my phone. I have a newspaper on my phone, so I check the headlines, you know. And then I start playing games, and I sit there for an embarrassing length of time, frankly. Let's just say if I spent that time knitting, I'd get a lot more done. And it just seems to be this kind of inertia, this reluctance to start the day. And part of me thinks, well, okay, because if that's what I need to do, that's what I need to do. And part of me also thinks, Lesley, you're wasting time. Why are you playing these games? They don't mean anything. There's nothing wrong with playing games, you know, they're a good way to pass time. But I felt like I was passing time for the sake of it, and just because I didn't want to get going. So I've taken them off my phone. I know you can get apps to restrict the time you can use them and that sort of thing, but I've taken them off my phone so that I don't do that again. Hopefully. So after I've read the paper, perhaps done the crossword, I'll allow myself that. That'll be it, and I'll have to start the day. Hopefully. But yeah, it's been a fairly quiet one. I've done a fair bit of crafting. So I've started the magpie tendency in bright rainbowish type colours. This photo, I took this photograph on my phone, and it tends to wash things out and go towards blue tones. So here's a second photograph with the caked yarn as well, which is a bit closer to how they are, but they're actually much warmer colours than it's showing on the photograph. So I've started that, and what I've tended to do this week is one evening I've worked on that, the next evening I've worked on the penguono. So here's how that's coming along. Apologies that it's a bit curled up in places. The stitches that I've put on spare needles, I've got them on stitch holders which aren't quite long enough, not quite enough length in my stitch holders, but you can get a sense of how things are progressing. It's going to be very scrappy looking, but we knew it would be. It's a wearing around the house to keep warm type of item that I'm making there. This is the what's it called, Eureka, that I work on while I'm sitting at my desk, while I'm checking ceremonies and so forth. And I've got about, I've done the sleeves, so I've got about 5 inches to do on the body, then the edging, and then I just need to do the border. It's feeling a bit kind of slow at the moment, so I may put this into other rotation and put something else in this drawer to work on while I'm checking stuff. But yeah, it's going along. I've also been doing some spinning. Now, I decided to build a routine for spinning into my day, which makes me think I'm probably getting quite a bit older. When I meet families and folks are talking about their very elderly parents, the phrase that often comes up was, they were a creature of habit. And so it'd be, you know, we have coffee at 10:30, we have lunch at 12:30, we have afternoon tea at 3, you know, those sorts of things. So sometimes to the point where flexibility is lost and people would forego invitations because, oh no, that interferes with our afternoon cup of tea, you know, that type of thing, which of course is perhaps just an excuse that I didn't want to do it. But it does seem to be something that people do as they get older, just to give a bit of structure to the days and their lives, which I completely understand, as long as it doesn't then become a rule that takes over. But yes, I'm building some structure into my day in that the lovely Barbara of the Flame and Fibre podcast, who has a daily vlog, and it's normally between kind of 10 and 20 minutes on average, I'm spinning as I watch Barbara. So I've got some lovely fluff here. This is from Witchcrafty Lady, Curl Surprise. And hopefully, this colour's showing up pretty well. The colourway is called Minty. So it's mostly white and green, but with a few patches of kind of more yellow colours in there. And this is half the braid, because I'm doing this as a fractal. Which I will talk about at length when the yarn is finished, and I talk about it on whichever month-end podcast that is. But basically it leaves you with different intensities of colour. So you'll go into a dark green and then into a light green, and you've got different intensities working together. So it'll be a 2-ply yarn. I suppose you could do a fractal in more plies. I've never tried. It might get a bit muddied, I guess. So I've got half sitting on the wheel at the moment to be spun, and that half to go when the first half is done. So yes, that's my daily spin with Barbara, which I'm very much enjoying. So apologies, this is going to be a fairly short vlog because there hasn't been much happening, and next week's probably going to be the same. Just sometimes life is routine, isn't it? So that's fine. Yeah, himself is away. He's in Scotland, and I don't have high expectations, but I will admit I do have some expectations, because he's actually away for 12 days, and it has been suggested that it might be wise for him to possibly think about coming home with a small gift. I'm not asking him to, you know, trawl around the yarn shops of Aberdeen and St Andrews. So I'm pretty sure I bought yarn in St Andrews myself once. I digress. But I think if he's away for 12 days and leaves me with all the stuff to do at home, at least a bar of chocolate would be a good idea. It would certainly make his life a lot easier. That makes me sound really grasping and acquisitive. Hopefully I'm not. I just would like a little appreciation for the things I'm doing at home while he's off having a lovely time. I don't think that's unreasonable, is it? Tough luck if it is, it's how I feel. So yes, that's it for this week. I hope you're all okay. I hope life is treating you kindly. I hope you're getting time to do a bit of crafting, because it's nice at the moment that I have got a bit of time for that. Sometimes life runs away a bit. And that you are keeping happy, hale and hearty. Thanks everyone. I'll see you next week. Take care.